Hello to everyone, this is Vishal and hope all are doing good. And as we are working with the room with MVVM approaches and the clean architecture layers, a lot of stuffs with there, and we have done the bindings, data bindings. So that means overall the last video was long, but maybe it's helpful for you. And as we have discussed about the important features related to the app, not a complete app, as I discussed that we need this kind of app sometimes because of we have to work with the local database, and the old method was time wasting on that. So today we have a room, so make it very easy, and all the queries within a DAO, and you can access the database easily on that. So we have learned a lot of things on the last video, and today we have to complete this video so we can see that how we can retrieve the values of the income and the expenses beyond as in a recycler view from the database. So let's once we discuss what we have done last time. So this is the cache type, and in which we have worked. This is your array, and that array we have inserted on the database with the images and get retrieve the things. And this is your a dynamic kind, we can say. We can click the values and then insert it on the database with the blob images, and that blob images we get accessed from the database. So that's be the complete scenario, and that we have done for the income. So I don't want to waste the time for the expenses. Just I copied these two repositories for the expenses and work on that. And these expenses be for just little bit this cache type arrays be changes the same things what we have done last time, and that is the category also be the same. So here on the manage category, when we click it on the income button, so we can insert the income categories. On when we insert for the expenses, so we have worked with expenses category. So rest we have to done today. We have to work with the income that we have to insert, and also we have to insert the values of expenses. Once those values be here, we can retrieve the data list from this, or so we can get access from the list and see that on the recycler view. Also we have a balance view model by which we can put some queries on that. We have to find the sum of columns and check the balance with the room. So that's also be interesting and maybe long, as I told you. So let us start it, and yeah, so let's see what be the categories last time. So this one is your managed category, and here I just put in the presenter for this radio button. So I think that is easy, you can do it easily. Nothing, just we have to select the radio button. So when you select the income button and say add category, and you can say that income 1 category. So this is yours, yes, and you can see that yes. So you can see is here we have in a category, and here you can find that income 1 category. So at this time here is nothing. So when you put it on the expenses, and you can put some, this is your expense category, and say 1, yes. So yeah, when you go for that, you can see that expense category 1. So that means these two records be inserted here. So now we have to work for this enter amount, and we have to put state and notes with the category ID and cache type. So I just put the category ID and cache type ID, but what you have to do, you have to put the name also, and you have to put the images as we discussed with the spinner. So this is for practice, you learn that, and you can retrieve those images here on the recycler view. So let's discuss about that. So first we have to go for our data layer and check the database. And what we have done, this is our database, my book database here, and the last time we have put it only the 4 classes, but we have a income class and expense class also. So for that model, you have a income, and that income we have a income ID, income amount, cash type ID, cash category ID. So here I'm using just IDs. You put the name of the cash type name and cache type images, also category images and category, so you can check that those images and those name be on your recycler view. It depends, I'm just trying to describe you how you can just save it and retrieve it. So that's the way. Okay, so we have two tables, that's for income and expenses. So that's, I'm saying that whenever you you are doing some changes with the database, you have to say this. Just here we have an income class, expense class. So either you can change your database, that means you make your new database, otherwise you can migrate it or update the versions. So that's important, and otherwise it gives you issue. I think I describe you one of my room sessions how you can migrate all the things. If not, then I will make more videos on that. And also you can create a singleton database, so you can change a single time name so that it reflect on all that. That means here I am described to you. So here I am using, in all the repository I'm using the name, but that is not the way. You just create a single and just singleton, or you just change the name on that. You just call the references be here. Okay, so and also I describe you that last time we have done the cash income repository. Here we have a some string values, so same thing I copied for cash expenses, and just only the uh, this array be different, otherwise the same thing we have. And just insert the things, just copy paste, and the same way I have done for the category expense, similar. So do not go with that, just practice, copy paste it. We have to work from the income. So here we have a table name income, auto generate income ID, amount, cash type ID, category ID, income date, whatever you want, you just put it. I just showed you how you can fetch it on your recycler view, and the practice is on you how you can practice this. So this things be done, or you have to go for your my daily book do, just copy paste the queries for the income, select from income, and here we insert the income. So same thing but with what we have done. Okay, and here for the expenses, and we have to insert that. So our work start from the you have to close this. Yes, we have to go for the remote, and here first we have to make a Java class that is for income repository. You give the name to this income repository. Okay, and for income repository what we need it, you need it a private context, and here you want to generate a constructor. That's constructor be for the context. That's easy, and just copy paste on the last time what we have done. We need a daily book database reference, so that's here, and I have changed the number. That means this is the new room database value, so just copy paste it, and here the same thing as we have worked, and here okay, so no need of this. You just make a two functions, that is your public void insert income here, and you say that income, and here you can say this is my daily book database, that is your DAO. Everything should be in the DAO as I describe you. That is your insert income, and that's your income, nothing. And when you want to retrieve it the database, so that means you have to go for the list. That's for your, sorry, first we have need a live data. That's live data be in the form of a list, and that list be as for income, and you can say that list live data. So you can fetch the values from the database. Okay, and here you generate a getter for this and the getter for this. That means you have fetched the values. So this is your list live data is equals to database dot get income. That's easy. So this is your first income repository values. You can call it on your view model. Okay, and here you have a remote. If anything need to be changed, then we work on that, otherwise we have to close this data layer. So just go for the expense repository. So here in the expense repository, just copy paste all things here, and for the expense, and here what we have to do, this is your expense repository, and here you use expense, and here you can use your context, and here you insert the values of expense, and this is the insert expense. So once this be ready, our base be so the backend be completed. So this is your expense, and here you can say get expense. So everything be here as in form of expense. So this is our expense repository, and there we have a income repository. So now we have to close these all because of no need of such as stuffs, and this is our data layer completed. So for the presentation layer, first we have to create the view model. So for this view models, I'm creating a income view model. So that's you have to extend for view model. In my future videos, I will describe you more about that view model factories and the view model. Lot of stuffs be there, and that makes our programs easy. So here the same thing we are working for, that is a context, and this is your context, and here you have to make a you generate the constructor for the context, and here you have to call that particular repository. So that's your income repository, and then call this income repository, and here you can say that income repository is equals to new income repository, and this is your context which we have to get access, and here we have a public void insert income, because of we have to do any logic oriented task that be on your view model. So we have nothing to do with your fragments on the and on your activities. There you just insert the values and show the values, nothing else. And here we have to do all the logics and all kind of converting things may be possible. So that's the way. So here you can say that is a income, and that income we have to do for yeah, so that's your income repository, and you can say that this is insert income, that's your income. And if you want to get access the live data, so here you can make a live data. This is your list, and this is your uh, income. Okay, and this is a list live data, and here you have to make your getter for the list live data. Okay, and here we can get access the things by your income. So that's your list live data, that is your income repository dot get list live data. And one more thing, sometimes we have a, because of on the first fragment, that is or the balance fragment, we have a swipe refresh layout. Sometimes we can get access, and each and every time we do not get observe the things. So what we do, we just create a method public void get income, and in which you just call this line. We check the use if possible, otherwise not. Sometimes we need to refresh the layout. Okay, so the same thing, I have worked for the view model as an income, that is an expense view model. So this is your expense view model. So once these models be ready, then we have to go for the fragments and then see the adapter views also. So that's be easy. You just copy paste the things for your expense view model, and in this what we have to do, this is the expense repository. This expense repository. Here we have expense, here we have a expense view model, and here expense repository. This is your expense repository, and here you can say that insert expense. This is your expense and expense. Okay, and this is your naming conventions are most important, and this is your insert expense. This is the expense. So first we have to go for the expense repository, and here you can change this name as an expense. It's good. And this is your expense repository be here, and you can call that expense values. So fine, this is your expense repository and get live data. So everything be here, and you can say that expense. So these be ready, that means your repository, your model, everything be here. Now we have to go for our view. On the view we have to work with income fragment. So also on the our first view, I have just created a balance view model be here, that is that I will discuss later. That is a blank at this time, because of here we have to check the credit and the debit values. So I'm not using at this time, but just for to know about. Okay, so here now we have to go for the income fragment, and income fragment we have some values. So first we have to check that how we can select these values be here. That is important. That means if it is a more than drop down, that means category 1 2 3 4. At this time we are using IDs, and also you have to use the name, because of it's good you show the name, not IDs. Okay, and this is with the names also. So at this time I'm using cash ID and cash name. So for this, how we can select that? So here we have a spinner. This is called a spinner cash. So that spinner we set on item selected listener. That is the most important. You have to select the items. Okay, and here you need to typecast it, because of I have seen many wants that how we can typecast the things when we select the spinner values. So it's very easy, because of our last is cash type income, because of we are working with the cash type income. So we have to typecast the values, because of we needed that. So this is your adapter view, or you make it as an parent. It's good if you say adapter view parent, and that is int is position, but here I'm using the same. So this is your cash type income, and so we have to find an integer cash ID, and that cash ID will have a cash type income dot get cash ID. Okay, but what you have to do, you have to put the string cash name and say that get cash name and cash image also. So you can show all these stuffs on your recycler view, but at this time I am using cash ID only. Okay, so this is for the spinner cache, because of practice is must, and you have to do that practice. And category spinner we have, and that set on item selected listener, new adapter, that's easy. And here we need a category category income. So we have to typecast as in a category income. Okay, and this is your adapter view dot get position, that is I, so we can find the values. This is your category ID, we need it, and this is a category income dot get category ID. That's easy. So here I've take this category ID and the cache ID as an integer because of I get that cache ID and category ID as integer. So you have to make the cache name, cache image also be here, and that convert it, and here category name and category image also you will take and practice on. Okay, so you have to change your income table also. So these all be ready, and now we have to go for the send button. That is a button in which we have to insert the value. So for this what we do, we have a income, and that's your new income, and here we insert the values be here income dot set income amount. So for this we have a amount val edit text, so that is amount val dot get text dot to string, but this is a double. So what to do, we have to use that double dot parse double, and then just put these values be here, easy. And here you can say that's a income dot set notes, and you can see the notes we here notes val dot get text dot to string, so easy. And here you have a income set cache type ID, so here cache ID, and here income dot set cache category ID, so this is your category ID. And one more thing, we need a date. Okay, so here it is a string, and here by the get selection of the data picker we get find the data date val, so that is your date val dot get text dot to string. So everything be here, but the most important point is we need a model by which we have to insert. So that's your private, and this is your income view model, income view model, and here we have to insert the values. So that means this is your income view model, new income view model, and get activity. And once this income view model be ready, you just put it as a income view model dot insert income, that's your income. But as I describe you, never get access it directly. We have two approaches to get it. One is that I already described to you, you have to work on that. The other I will describe you on my new sessions. So this is our dot observe on, and that is your Android schedulers dot main thread, and that subscribe on schedulers dot IO. Here the use of RX Java, that's very good. And this is your subscribe, and you can say new complete table. So it's good whenever you work with like this. So here on the run you can insert the values, and on the complete you can say that yes, this is get activity and income inserted. So that means that's for income, and we insert the values of income into the database. So run this and let's see what be the value. Okay, so let's see what happened here. So here we have to insert the record, so that means here I'm putting some values, 4000, and these all be the single categories, and this is your first income, that's my notes, and the save income, and also the date be your 6th March. So here you can say the save income inserted. So that means we have insert the values we here, so we have to retrieve that by the recycler view. So the same thing I'm doing for your expense fragment. Okay, so here we have a view model, that is your expense view model. Just you have to copy paste the expense fragment b. So now for that, here just copy the things be as what we have done. This is the cash and the values be here. So first we have to select the things, and here it is not a spinner cache. I think gives the name be the spinner. So the cache id, but here the typecast for a cache type expense. So this is your cache type expense, and this is a cache type expense because of working with cache type expense. And get cache id. So the same things before category expense. So this is the category expense, the same as we have done on the last video. So that is your category expense, and this is the category expense, get category id. So that for the spinners we can put both the values, and yeah, that's very simple. And now we have to call the send values be here. So here we need same thing, but let's check it. Okay, so copy paste that values here, and do not go with the income. Here I'm going for the expenses. So this is your expense, this is the expense, and this is your expense. Name conventions must be always be the same, because of whenever anybody can work on your project, so can get access the things easily. So here we do expense amount and set expense date. Okay, and but here we have to work with the view model, and that view model be your expense view model. And here your expense view model is your new expense view model get activity. So easy. And you can see that this is a expense view model dot insert expense as an expense. So we have insert the values for expense also. So that means that's insert income and insert expense be finish. Let's run. So can see. So once we insert these two values, our the next we have to get live data as an recycler view for the income and for the expenses. Then we have put some queries to find out the column sums and other things. So that makes us balance values. Okay. So here everything be fine, and we discuss about little bit for the balance fragment now. So first we have to check our values, and here I am putting some values, that is 2000, and expense category 1 be here, and I'm giving the 3rd of March for this, and this is your first expense value. Yeah, sorry, the tag is same, but we have to put it as an expense inserted. Okay, so these to be ready, and we have as an income expenses we have just we have put the values be there, but how we can retrieve it? So that's for we have a balance fragment. Here we have done the fragment balance binding at the same binding as we did for the last video. You just put it, if you work with the balance binding, then you work with the binding, or otherwise you can get the things as a direct, nothing else. Okay, so for this what we have to do, we need adapters, because of we are working with the recycler view, and that recycler view be like this. Let's see here. in this design, uh, so here we have a two recycler view. This is the list order and list order one, and this is a credit, debit, and the balance. So here you can find all the income values, and here you find all the expense values, and here we have a total credit, debit, and the balance for that. So we have to learn. So first we have to go for the adapters, because of we need a recycler view adapters. So for that you can go for income view adapter. So say new Java, that is income list adapter. So for income list adapter, first we need a class, that's your view holder, that extends the recycler view dot view holder, and here you can also be work with data bindings if you want, because of I already described on my recycler view examples how you can make a data bindings beyond the recycler view. But here I want to just make it fast. So just say it is your extends your recycler view dot, and this is your adapter. And if you work with your project with the data binding, you just complete on the data binding. Do not, I'm just showing to you both the ways, but you have to work with, if either you work with the binding or without binding. Okay, so that's good. So here we have a view holder class. Okay, and here it needs some methods, so implement the methods. And okay, do not give the private access to this. Okay, and here you need a private context, we need it. So this is your context, and this is your private. Here only you need a list, not any live data. Okay, so whenever we work with, that means we need only a list on inside the adapter. So here we have a income list, everything is fine. So you need to generate a constructor with both, so that constructor be ready. And here you can say that income list dot size. Okay, and here you have to return the view. So for this is your view, and view as in a layout inflator dot from context dot inflate. This is your r dot layout dot, here we have a balanced list inner layout, and this is your view group, that means the parent, and this is your false. Okay, so the thing is easy, and here you have to return that new view holder as in a view. So that means we return that value. If you use with the data binding, you just call the class of the binding and then return that get root values there. Okay, so we'll show you that what's be inside the balance inner layout. So here I have a design. uh, Here we have a name, category IDs, and a lot of stuff. This image I'm not inserting again. I'm saying that you have to work on that, and also category name you have to work on that. Practice on this. You have to insert the images in an income table and get back the same as we have done for the spinner. And if you find any issue, you just put the comments, so I will see that. Okay. So the practice is important. So here we go for the income list adapter, and for here mm, we have some text views, text view, and that's for your what we have on the balance inside. We have a lot of things, that is your income, amount text, and date text. So this is amount well, and category well, that's with the value, that is your notes value, and the date value. Only I'm using this, I'm not using any other, just only 4 values. You just get back the things we have. and this is your amount well, that is this is your text view. So this is not a good whenever you work without data binding, because of lot of code be unnecessary we have to find here. So r dot id dot amount text here, and just copy paste these values. Here we can say this is your date well, this is your category well, and this is your notes well. So here we have a date text, and here we have category text, and here we have a notes text. So we can find all the values be here. And on the beyond bind view holder, so here we have a income, that's our income, and that's income list dot get, this is your I. So we can put the positioning of that. So here we have a view holder dot your amount well dot your set text, and here we have a string dot values of, because of amount well be as in a double, so we have to put as in a income dot get amount. Okay, and the same thing for we have to work for the view holder dot date well dot set text, and here no need to typecast it, just say income date because of that's a string, and copy paste it. And here we have a category well, but this is your integer type, so also typecast string dot value of, make it as a string, and income dot get category id. Also you can get find the cache id, but I'm not using, you just practice on. So this is your get income date category. We have a category well, date well, sorry, date well also happen, that is your notes. So notes well, so that is your get notes. Everything is fine, so that means this adapter be ready. And how to call this adapter in your fragment, so let's see it. So we have to go for the balance view model. No, not a balance view model, first we have to go for a balance fragment, then we go for the balance view model, that's for credit and debit. So here just an easy, and as we have to find something from the models, both the models, so that is your private income view model. So that's the benefit of working with the models, you can get access anywhere and work on that. So this is your income view model and new income view model and get activity. So everything is fine, we have an income view model, we have everything be here, and now we have to find one more method, that is called your void call data. We have to call this be here. So for this we have a income view model that get income as I describe you, that's the method, and this is the next is how we can get access the things be here. So we need it to call data as an income view model dot get list live data dot observe this comma new observe list. Okay, so here one more thing we needed our adapter. So that's our adapter we call your income list adapter. So this is your income list adapter. So what to do for that adapter, you just say income list adapter as in a new income list adapter, and this is your get activity comma this is your incomes, so we can insert the values. And here we have done the fragment binding, so fragment binded, and our recycler view name is list orders, and that means we have to set our adapter, that's your income list adapter. But before that we have to put the layout. So that's an important, otherwise it's not showing to you. So that means whenever you set layout manager, new linear layout manager, and then get activity. Okay, so that's be fine. And now inside this, if you have a fragment view minding that swipe refresh layout, and then you want to refresh it, so set on refresh listener, new on swipe refresh listener, and here you have to, that means on the refresh you have to call the things. So here you say the call data, and once it happens, so that means you have to false that set refreshing, easy. And also you can call on the first time here, so you can get access that call data. So this is for a simple swipe refresh layout, and here you can call data b as in whatever you need that you insert on the database. So let us start and see what happened here. Okay, so what's be the view? So you can see that this is the views. You can see this is the your values of we inserted date, amount. This is the category ID, but you have to find the category name and cache name also. That's good. And your notes. So you have to put all these stuffs be here and make it easy. And this is just for signal that it is a just source from the drawable for each and every it's up that your income be up. And this is you have to do for a practice. You insert in a income and then retrieve it just like a spinner. So this for your practice for your recycler view. It's an easy, you just put the image of the category whatever you insert on that, and that category image you have to retrieve it here. So now I'm doing for the same for our expanse fragment. So sorry, expanse view. So as we have to go for okay, now we have to create one more adapter, that is for a second list, and that list we called here expanse list adapter. And in expanse list adapter you just copy all the stuffs be here, and but we have to change lot of, because of here it is expanse list adapter. Okay, so first thing is you have to need a view holder, and this view holder be as expanse view holder, expanse view holder. Okay, this is expanse list adapter. Okay, now that is for expanse. Second thing is we need expanse. This is your expanse, and I have to change this. This is a balance expanse list layout, and here this is your expanse and expanse values, and also you just give the name of expanse list, so you can see the discriminations of that. Okay, and here you can find that is a expense get expense amount. Okay, expense dot get expense date is your expense dot category ID, and expense dot get notes. Okay, so the same thing you have to work, and here I need a view holder. So the things be ready for the expense, and I think yeah, so here on the expense view model, just check it, everything is fine. Yeah, get expense we have. Fine, fine, fine. So what to do, you just go for a balance fragment and copy paste this data, call data be here, and this is called the call data 1. And here you have to use one more model, that's your private expense view model, expense view model, and that expense view model be here, that is an expense view model get activity. So this is your expense view model. Okay, and here is called this expense view model dot get expense, and you can find that expense view model be here. So this is your expense view model as in a list of expense, and this is your expense, this is your expenses, and here one more thing we need it, that is adapter. So that adapter be your for expense list adapter, expense list adapter. So what to do, you just um, put it as an expense list adapter, as an expense list adapter, and here we have expenses, so easy. And here we have a next list order values, that is list order ones, and here you have to put that expense list adapter. Okay, so the things be fine for our call data 1, and here I am using again a fragment, this is your call data 1 for the first time, and here the same thing we have to use for the fragment balancing of binding for the refresh layout 1. So here you to use 1. Okay, so I think that's we get income and that's we get expenses. Let's see what be the answer. So once these to be ready, then we have to go for the that most important task, that's we have a credit and debit. So that's with the discussion how we can get back the things as an expense and as an income. Okay, so this is your income, this is your expense. You can make it as in a font with the small, so you can check all the values be here for the notes. So you can see that this image you have to insert and retrieve it. So these be the values and this here. So now we have to work with this balance view model, that's an important. And how we can check the credit and debit, that is the query and the most important query on that. So let's start it on the balance fragment. So for this we have to go for our DAO. Okay, for this sum and credit debit values, that means you have to find from the column sums. That means we need all the values inserted in the record be database, and you can find it. So we need temporary values, that is a temporary models to fetch the things in a room. So you can never get access directly, just you get a reference like if you have a model, like we have to find the total. So I'm giving the name a total, you can give any name to this, and here I have a public double total value, and here I've put it the getter setters for this. Okay, nothing else on this. What we have to find, we have to find the query, and the query is your select, we have to find the sum. So that means select sum, I think it is, and that sum be I want for the income amount, that's for from year as a income, but that means that amount is for which kind of thing is it? Is a double kind of, and that is as a total. So I'm giving the name to total. So not be the total be that total, it's just to give the any name to this, that is double also. This also means double if that be values double, and if it is a value be integer, so that's be the integer. Okay, so here you have to find your live data and that total be here. Okay, and this is your get credit. So first we have to check these things. If credit be the fine, then we go for our debit value. So first we have to go for our income list adapter, not an adapter. We have to go for the model and repository. So where is the repository? That is on the remote and income repository. So on the income repository you have to call that particular value. So here you have to make it as a private live data, and that is your total, and your you can say that is your debit, sorry, credit. So that is your credit values, and on that you have to find as a generate getter for a credit. Okay, and this credit be as a my database.do.getCredit. So you can find that, fetch the values. Let's try what happened with this. And on our balance view model, that is as I described you before, that on the balance view model it is a blank model, and here we have a private context, and here this context be context, and this dot context is your context, and here you have to call that repository, in which just this model is only for the upper layer, that means where we have to work with the balance. Okay, so it become easy. So if your balance be different, that means separations on that, so you can do anything with calculations. So here you can say that this is your income repository, this is your income repository, you call the income repository be here. Income repository is equals to new income repository, and this is your context, so that means here. So we can find that income repository be here, and here we can find the public live data for the total, and this is your credit values, and you can find that generate a getter for this, and yes. So here you can find your credit be like income repository dot get credit. Okay, and here we have bind the values be on the side of your balance fragment. Okay, and the balance fragment we have to check the name, what's the name for the credit here. So we have to go for fragment balance and see the credit, credit balance well here, and this is the left, this is the right values in which we have to find, and I'm giving the name to this ID is your credit well. Okay, and here the same thing, and this text value be your debit well. Okay, either you can make the by the data binding observable, or I'm just using the same thing by here on our balance fragment. So many ways to work with that. So here you can see yes, this is your uh, you have to work with balance. So balance view model is where Okay, so you have to go for the balance view model first. And here you can see that this is your, don't make confusion any. So because of when you work within a deep, the things become complicated, but you just work as in a separate layer concerns. So this is a separate layer for the balance model. Okay, so that means your balance model dot get credit dot observe this comma new observe total. So that's easy. And here you can say data binding dot balance or credit well dot set text be here as in a total dot get total. So that means we have to check that what's the value of that credit. So let's see. I think it's easy now what we have done. Just again I am saying that first you have to create the total, that is a double kind, which kind of sum you want it is, and you just use the database DAO and in which you have a query for find the sum as in a total. So it's not be the same, you can give the name as a total 1 total 2 anything, but this thing is similar. Okay, that means if it is double, so that's be the double. And here in a balance view model you have called it repository as in a live data total, and in your balance fragment you just observe it. So run that and see what happens. So let's see what be the result here. I have added two values of our income, so that means we can find the sum as in total. So yes, you can see that this is a 4,000 and this 3,000, it becomes 7,000 as in a credit. So we have to do for the debit also the same thing, and for the debit what we have to do, just go for your DAO and copy paste it and say that is your expense, and or this is a debit. Okay, it indicates that this is the wrong column, so we can do it as an expense amount. Okay, so that means the room indicate you, that's amazing. Whatever, whenever you work with a query, that it show to you your column name be wrong on the right. So that's be easy. So the debit get debit, you have to work with the get debit as an expense repository, and on the expense repository we have to go for live data, and this is your total, and on total we have a debit. That means, and here we have to create a generate a getter, and that getter gives us the value as an a debit is equals to my DO and dot your get debit. Okay, so that means you find the values, and here on your um, model, that is a balance view model, you just copy. Okay, so you just make a new one, that's your private, and expense repository, and here you can say that expense repository is equals to new expense repository, and this is your context we here, and okay, why it is two times. Okay, so here you can find it using generate your getter, and debit live data. So you can find it a debit is equals to expense repository dot get debit. Okay, and on your balance fragment just do the same as we have done for our balance view model. So you can say that a balance view model that get debit dot observe this comma new observer, that's your total, and fragment binding dot debit val dot set text as in a total dot get total. Okay, so run this and see what happens. So once we find the credit also, that means there is addition of the credit and the debit, difference. We have to find that, but not make it as an, because I've told you before, you haven't do these things on any calculations on your fragments on the activities. So either you can get the things from the database or on your repository on your view models. Okay. So that's the fund of clean architecture also. So here you can see that it is a 2000, and I want to add some more. So you can see that is 1000, and date is 7, and this is second uh, 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 type. Okay, so you can save expenses. It is inserted. Yes, so it is 2000 plus 1000, it becomes 3000, and 4000 plus 3000 is 7000. Now we have to find the balance. So one way is we have a credit, we have a debit here, and we can do it anything with the fragment. But do not like this, do not work like this, because of this is wrong. So we go for again the query, make it the balance. So for this, what we have to do, this is the next query in which we can find both the values b. So you can say that add query, and this query is important. You can find it how it is the select, and here you can find it the select. This is the sum. Okay, and here you can say this minus, and the same thing you have to work with select sum, and here you can say that as total. So, and from this you have to remove as a total and as a total. Okay, and this is your as a total is from the last one. So that means whenever you have to select that, select some income amount from in here, and you can find this your live data as in a total, and you can say that get balance. So here we can find these things be as a final value of your balance. Okay, and you have to put in any repository this total, either in your income or on your expense. You just find out the things be here. This is your total and your balance, and in this balance what we have to do, you just go for and generate the getter, and that getter be here for balance, and for the balance you have to find my, and this is do and dot get balance. Okay, so that means this is the value, and okay, you have to call this on your balance view model. So here you can say that the live data as a balance, and for the balance you just go for your generate getter, and that getter for the balance, and that balance comes from in your repository income repository dot get balance. Okay, but for the view it comes from the balance data, so that means a balance view model. So that means this is your balance view model that get balance dot observe this comma new observer, and here you have to find the fragment binding dot balance well dot set text, and here you have to find that's your total dot get total. Okay, so that means here you can get value the total and balance all. So run this and let's see what it gives to us. So I think it's interesting to work with the room and lot of queries we can do that. I will make more information in my coming sessions. I will apply the other join queries and the sub queries also with the room, so you can see that that be helpful on your projects. So I think it's easy for the credit, for the debit, and for the balance. So you can find all the things be on your balance sheet. So you can say that 7,000 and 3,000. 7 minus 3, you get it to 4,000. Okay. So if you want to add more value, just like say, uh, that's my income. So in a income, I have to add 2,000 more. So on the date something, and say save money, whatever be your notes, and you can save that. That means inserted. So you can see that it become 6437 or 29. 9 minus 3, it's your 6,000 balance. So everything should be on the view models in a repository, and that's be good. But you have to work on that because of it's not looking good, because I'm giving the just the same images, but you have to make these images be dynamic. That means on your income, you just create two more fields, that's for the category name and category image, and whenever you insert it, you just practice on that and get back the things from the blob side, from the database, as we done for the spinner. And you have to see that and name category name also instead of these IDs, and images you have to work. So you can see that this is the refresh layout. This is the refresh layout. Okay, so everything be here as we have discussed, and that means it is important and hope it's useful for you. So thank you so much, and we'll see my coming tutorials, and soon I will make some React Native sessions also. So thank you for the day.